The culture within most PhD disciplines and most research disciplines is that if you are not working right now, you consider yourself as a procrastinator or you're not good enough. And there is a lot of bragging that happens within the community, within the culture of almost all research disciplines of how much work that you have done. You'll hear many things that I did an all-nighter, or I work on weekends. I don't take any time off for holidays. My kids are not important for me. I need to actually spend some time doing this research. I have deadlines, so I need to actually make these deadlines, so I can't do that thing. All of this stuff is a symptom of a very negative pattern, a very negative culture that makes people feel bad deep down inside. All of this, I want you to sort of view this, all of these patterns that you see and you feel in terms of procrastination, that these are deep-seated insecurities about people trying to impress other people, and that they need to demonstrate to the outside world that they are good enough, that they're a functioning human being within this particular culture. Now, I'm pushing back quite a lot about this culture because I don't think it's healthy for anybody. I think if you actually look at real physical behaviors that people do within the discipline, is that they all take time off. They all spend time doing different things that are enjoyable for themselves. Nobody works 24/7. In fact, that is an extremely unhealthy culture, and that will lead to very poor behavior. Whenever I see anybody talking about that, or cultures that actually talk about how much they work and that they're always in the lab and that they're doing things all the time, that is a red flag for me. That gives me some heebie-jeebies, like, there is something messed up there. A healthy work culture allows you to work and allows you to have time off without any guilt and not feeling bad. Now, here's the thing. You're gonna feel bad whenever you take time off, and you're gonna feel guilty whenever you take time off. That's what we do because we are very conscientious. Unless you're not. Maybe that's just me. I'm probably very conscientious. I very much think about that, and I worry about it a lot. So instead of thinking about procrastination is a made-up word to make you feel very guilty and to make you feel like you are not good enough and you're not you're inferior somehow. I want you to change this conversation in your head and say, hey, I'm actually doing the right thing that I need to do right at this moment for me. And if it means taking some time off or doing something, that's exactly what I need to do right at this moment. Now, I know you can't take time off all the time, right? Like, I think that would be a little crazy. But what I would suggest that you do is, instead of thinking of the big work that you have to do and having these sort of real big differences between what you're doing now and the work that you have to do, I would just suggest, hey, I'm going to play around with this thing. I want you to think about this. I want you to say, I'm going to play around with this thing, and I might spend, I don't know, maybe if I write a page, or maybe my goal is just to sit down for an hour, drink a cup of coffee, and read a paper. Something really kind of minimal. And I want you to sort of think about that. When you're doing that, you're actually doing the work that you should be doing. And it really makes you feel good when you're just playing around and enjoying what you're doing, rather than thinking of, I gotta sit down and write an entire paper all at once. So, I mean, that's crazy. That's just crazy talk. What I want you to do is take a deep breath and just say, I'm just gonna play around with this. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna have some fun. Let's have some conversations, and then we're gonna move on from there. All of this talk about how amazing I am, or, puffing out my chest and I have to get all this work done and I got to soldier on, and you're not good enough unless you do all of these hours of work, all of that kind of stuff. That is the cultural norms that are just fundamentally negative, and they're making a lot of people feel very bad about themselves, and they're making a lot of people not like the career. I think it's a very, very poor and improper way to treat the career. It's a career. It's just a damn job. At the end of the day, it really is. It's just a damn job. And what I want you to do is sort of instead of thinking of this as like, this is your identity, you have to work all the time, you're pathetic. If you're not doing this, I want you to just simply say, let's just have a little bit of fun, and I'm just gonna play around. And that's it. I'm gonna write a paragraph. Now, if I write a paragraph, now here's the thing, right? So this logic that you think that you're procrastinating at this moment, you're thinking like, I'm no good, I'm pathetic, there's nothing right with me because everybody else is doing this stuff. You find out it's everybody else is feeling the exact same way. And they're all looking at everybody else and saying, oh gosh, I gotta do this thing. What I want you to do is just to make it into a fun game and turn it around and to just have some pleasure with this thing. And if you make it little, right? So here's the human response. You have all of this guilt. You didn't do something yesterday, right? So you're supposed to write 5 pages yesterday. So you have all this guilt and you're gonna say, I'm gonna sit down and write 10 pages today. Like hell that's ever gonna happen, right? That's not what's gonna happen. Instead, what you need to do is simply say, I'm just gonna play around. Hey, if I write a paragraph, I write a sentence today, better than what I had before, and I'm okay with that. If I sat down today, that's better than what it was before. I'm just gonna sit there and enjoy it and have some fun. Now, you need to write all the time, right? Like that's part of it. But it's also part of like, let's try to make this enjoyable. Let's make this fun. Figure out all the ways to make it fun. For me, it's exercise. I need to get exercise so then I can feel good. I know those moments where it transitions where I don't feel good. That's where I get up and I go for a walk or something like that. And I think that's absolutely healthy to do those things. So with that, don't feel bad about procrastinating. This is the bloody culture, negative culture making you feel awful. That's not what the name of the game is. Just have some fun. Play with it. This is a really difficult thing for people to learn. And when you change this, when you start viewing the world in a different way, as playful, as goofing around, as, let's just have some fun and explore. Hey, you know what? If you're sitting there, I got itchy eyeball. Oh my gosh. If you're sitting there and you start kind of like you're doing some research and then you kind of drift off and you start going in a different direction, you start exploring this little thing about something that's interesting, you never know when it's going to come back and you're actually going to use this thing. That is useful information. That's our jobs. We're explorers. Now, come back, obviously, and have some fun with what you're working on, but don't feel guilty about those explorations. That is what real research is about. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye. Oh, by the way, if you haven't done so, please, check out reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. I'm trying to build this out. It's to help us write, to help us do all the stuff that we need to do that we all struggle with. All right, and I'm super excited actually. Right now, we're building in some of this OpenAI software into it. So it should be really cool. We're just gonna help you actually write some things. So hopefully in a couple of months, it's all gonna be ready just for you. All right, take care, bye.